write the essay. I'll start explaining this particular topic itself. I'll just start sharing my screen first. Just a
Oh,
minute. Yeah, the screen is visible, right?
no, sir. Not it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Now?
Yes.
Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Bhavdeep, you're new to this lecture, right?
Yes, yes.
And just give me some brief introduction about yourself. How many attempts have you given, and if any mains that you have written? Just a brief one.
This is my second attempt.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have done MBA,
Mm-hmm.
and post MBA, I have work experience of 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and before that, I have work experience of 3 years.
So you have an 8-year experience, right?
Yeah, I have worked for 8 years, and
Okay.
yeah, 2023 was my first attempt.
And currently you're working, or you have left the job and
No, now I am
preparing?
not working. I have left my job.
So you are preparing for full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did you write mains last year? 23 mains?
No,
Okay.
I was not able to clear prelim only.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just I'll start with the brief introduction on how to write essays, and this I did in the previous lecture as well. But just let's start with this one again. The first thing is the introduction of the topic. The second is the thesis of the topic. That's what Ramya was explaining in the initial sentences that she spoke. Right? You need to explain the topic in your own words uh, without taking much help from the examples. Just examples will act as supporting statements, but the core of the topic should be explained by you in a detailed manner, like in 1.5 pages will be sufficient enough to give a proper thesis. And then there are two ways to divide an essay. One way is to justify the topic in temporal as well as in spatial manner. Temporal means you need to talk about the topics, historical topics, which relates to the topic, to the essay topic that you're choosing. Secondly, the spatial discussion. In spatial discussion, you will include multiple sectors from the current era, right? You will include the topic of society, polity, economy, defense, any other sector that you can think of in the spatial discussion, because
So till
here
now
you.
you're not audible. Could you please repeat?
Hello.
Sir, till now you're not audible. Could you please repeat what you're
Am I
explaining some
am I
temporal?
audible right now?
Yes, sir. Right now you're audible. Please repeat about temporal discussions.
Okay. So till thesis, it was clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in temporal discussion, you need to pick the topics from history. How historical perspective is defining the essay topic. How the essay topic is supporting the historical happenings, right? For example, in this particular topic, which says experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you, right? So
Okay.
one way to start the temporal discussion is there was a necessity. Historically there was multiple necessities that came in front of human race. For example, there was a necessity to revolutionize everything. That's when the industrial revolution got started. So industrial revolution was the human reaction towards the necessities that was coming in front of it, right, in front of him. So the necessity in itself was not providing any kind of experience. It is just compelling the human being to act in a certain way, act in a certain way from the choices available in front of him. The one way was to revolutionize things with the help of increasing the manpower. The second way was to revolutionize things by innovation, by increasing the mechanization in the industrial sector. And we picked the second one. We increased the mechanization, and that's how our experience grew up in that particular area, right? So that kind of temporal discussion can get included in this particular topic. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Now coming to the spatial discussion. In the spatial discussion, you will come to the present era. You will talk about everything that's happening in the present times, but in multiple sectors, right? Experience in the sector of security, in the sector of society, economy, polity, any other sector that you can think of, disaster management, technology. That's how you can divide the essay, and you can eventually fill up the pages with quality content, and you will not lose your time on thinking what to write next, right? The other way of dividing and increasing the dimension of your essay is to ask questions regarding the particular topic, and then try to answer those questions, right? Am I audible till now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are two ways. One is temporal and spatial discussion. The other one is to ask different kind of questions and answer to those questions on your own. Now the next dimension comes is challenges and solution. So if the topic is the same, the experience one, so here you need to talk about what kind of challenges that a person can face, what kind of solution that you can suggest, right? So it will come around 1.5 to 2 pages it will take. So that's how you can divide the expanse of your essay, the 12 to 13 page expanse of your essay, into multiple subtopics, so that you'll not lose your time on thinking what to write next. And even while you're brainstorming, if these subsections are there in your mind, your mind will start working smoothly. It will not take much time, and the points will eventually come to your mind eventually, right? The next one, the second last one, is the antithesis. In the antithesis, you will try to broaden your dimension, right? You'll try to put a question mark in the topic itself, because till now you are just supporting the statement of the essay topic that you have picked up. But in this particular section, in the antithesis section, you'll start questioning the topic. Just a small question. For example, in this topic, experience is not what happens to you, the first statement is not providing much emphasis to the happening, right? It is emphasizing towards the experience, that something that's happening is not giving you the experience, but your action towards those happening will eventually give you the experience. But at the first place, that happening is important to create a question mark in your mind and to start thinking and innovating. So we cannot completely neglect those events, we cannot completely neglect those happenings which is leading me towards an experience, right? So that's how an antithesis can be written. That's one way. Obviously you can write in any other way as well, but that's one way of giving the antithesis. Now then, the conclusion is simply you will try to conclude the write-up that you have written, and it's good to have quality quotes in your mind, so that the vocabulary comes out in a better manner, the expression comes out in a better manner, and you will conclude it appropriately, right? So I'll emphasize upon the thesis part and the conclusion part and the antithesis as well. So these three sections will define the number of marks that you can score in essays, because every other section, the third, fourth, and fifth section, will be written by every student, and you will be more or less will be on the same footing. I'm talking about the people who are preparing seriously and performing well in the exam. So every other person will be in the same footing. The difference creating factor will be your thesis, your antithesis. Because in thesis, you are putting up your mind in and trying to explain the topic to the examiner in your own manner, in your own words. And that's when the complete character of the aspirants comes in front of the examiner in those 1.5 to 2 pages, just the start of the essay, right? So if the start of the essay is pumping, then it eventually uh, lead you to score better in the essay section, essay paper, right? Am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's move on to discuss the first topic. Experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. Now, first things first, this statement is not a question mark statement, right? There are two types of statements that eventually comes in your essay paper. One type is they'll write a statement and put a question mark, and that question mark implies that you need to provide your opinion, you need to take a stand and then start writing the essay. And in this topic, there is no question mark. It is just a statement. So 80 to 90% portion of your essay will try to justify this statement itself. You will not try to negate the statement. You will not try to question the statement. You will just support the statement with multiple examples from different sections. Understood? Now, introduction, just what Ramya has told in the initial part of this lecture, that's one way of introducing things, where you can start introduction with the help of an anecdote. And if you want to avoid that, if you're not getting any proper anecdote and you are compelled to write this particular topic itself, you can start with your thesis itself, right? So start in a very minute way. Pick a keyword from the topic and start explaining it in a simplified manner. So for example, experience is a keyword. So what's experience is? So experience is wisdom devised from choices. So this particular statement is emphasizing that the choices that we are opting for will give us the experience. It is not just the happening, but what action we are taking after the event has taken place. So our responses, our reaction will give us the experience, right? If we are reacting towards something, if we are acting towards something, then we are moving forward. We are not standing still and trying to get the experience. Understood? Now you need to diversify your you need to diversify the meaning of experience in multiple sentences, in multiple ways. That's where the vocabulary that you have built up after reading the newspapers, after reading the content of the current affairs magazine will come handy. So there's the first sentence could be wisdom devised from choices. It is telling me the meaning of experience. The second thing is experience is learning from our actions. It can be attained by choosing from one of the options available. Because if some event has happened, then we are left with multiple options, and it depends upon us on what option we are choosing. Right? Let's say, for example, in the year of 1991, where the country was facing the financial crisis, then we have two options: to continue with the uh, policies which were focused upon the public sector, and the second option was to open up our economy and introduce LPG into the country. And we opted for the second one, and we gained some kind of experience which was positive in nature, because it ended up in improving the economical structure of the country. It ended up in pulling out multiple many section of population, broad section of population, out of the poverty. And that's when the current economical status of the country has improved, right? So after taking in any kind of action, we are getting the experience, and the outcome will define whether it's the positive experience or the negative experience. Understood? For example, uh, let's say today there's a small attack in the parliament, if you people have heard of, right? Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it has already taken place 22 years back, 2000, in the year of 2001, when the parliament was under attack by some group of terrorists. So there has to be some security measures that was taken by that government. But till this date, that security measure probably has not been improved enough to stop any further activities, to stop any further disruptions that has been taken place right now in today's world. So we can say that the experience that we have gained from 2001 attack is not very positive in nature, is not very transforming in nature. Or else we can also say that the experience that we have gained in 2001 has not been transformed with time. Understood? So that's how things can be explained with the help of example as well. So this kind of thesis has to be there. uh, I've also given one more example, which says just the thought of preparing for UPSC is not giving you any kind of experience, because lakhs and lakhs of students get the thought of preparing for UPSC. But if you are opting for the path of preparation, you will get some kind of experience, right? So that's what this statement is defined, is telling you. It is trying to explain you that particular thing. that you need to be active, you need to take action, you need to react to the situation, you need to react to the events that's happening in front of you, right? So this kind of thesis should be there. The quote by Aldous Huxley that can be missed, I have just given you the factual content that can be missed because everyone cannot remember this particular name, but your understanding should get highlighted in the thesis itself, the core understanding, right? Here I have not used the content of GS 1 2 3. I have been using the content of GS 4, which is more cognitive in nature, which is more ethical in nature, right? So the more ethics you write in your thesis, the more avoiding it becomes. But just make sure that it lands properly. It should not deviate from the purpose. It should not be like beating around the bush. You need to hit the bush, right? Clear till here?
Yes.
Any doubt? Anyone else have also joined? Yeah, there are 6 participants. Okay. Anyone, any doubt? The screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 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 So if anyone has any different thesis, any different understanding in this particular topic, they can provide your inputs, their inputs. Anyone, because try to make this kind of session very interactive in nature, right? Try to speak up, try to put up your points. It's just not the class should not be the one-way lecture, right? It should be a dialogue kind of thing. So anyone who has any kind of point to expand this particular thesis, they can put up. No one? So from next lecture, try to go through the topics that has been asked in the previous papers, previous test papers, and try to brainstorm. Because end of the day, your brain should start working. Your brain should produce points, right? It is an inward looking subject. You need to look inward to produce points from yourself. No one will come in front of you in the examination hall to give you the points. It will not happen. Yeah. Coming on to the temporal discussion, you can here I'm just providing you the insight. You need to diversify the topic by yourself, but the idea could be the need or the necessity is just providing you the opportunity to act. It is not giving you any kind of experience, right? So you need to select one of the options from the choices available in front of you to gain the experience. Understood? So the first necessity that came up to the human race was to produce heat. So that's when the discovery of fire, the discovery of wheel came up to simplify things, right? And that's when we start getting the experience. And that's how, taking this particular idea, try to diversify the topic into different sections of history. You can pick up the topic from Harappa culture, how they improvised upon the necessity that they encountered, how they resolved that particular necessity. You can pick up the example from ancient history or the medieval history where the Mughals were coming in. You can take the example from the modern history as well, the Gandhian era or the Nehruvian era, right? So that particular point you need to think upon by yourself and try to produce in your write-up, right? Meanwhile, the people who have joined, how many of you have attempted the test? Ramya is one. Ramya has told that she has attempted. Others, anyone else?
So I attempted, but could not post my answer sheet on the group.
So which topic did you attempt?
So this one only. Experience is not what happens to you; it is what you do with what happens
Okay,
to you.
so this is the opportunity. Nah? Give up your points. Start
So
speaking. Yeah.
basically, sir, I started with a quote of Thomas Edison that I have not failed 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that will not work. So after that, sir, I explained what does the term experience signify, the challenges, the learnings that we come across in our day-to-day lives, or on our path to achieve something. And then I differentiated that what is the difference between what happens to you and what you do with what happens to you. Both things are different, sir. And then I described that why is it necessary to have an experience, because it gives us strength, prepares us to face challenges, crucial for us to make our dreams reality, live a life that can
Yeah,
serve as an example for others.
in this section that you are speaking up, try not to deviate from the topic. The topic per se is not in itself talking about the experience. It is trying to compare the experience and the happenings, right? So
Okay,
this
sir.
comparison should be visible in your write-up. In every
Okay,
other
sir.
paragraph or in every 2 or 3 paragraphs, this comparison should be visible,
Okay,
right?
sir.
We are not just taking the experience from the happenings. We are taking the experience because of the actions that we are taking, the reactions or our reply to the events that's happening in front of us, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
that particular action is giving us the experience.
Okay,
Getting my
sir.
point? Yeah.
And then in further body paragraphs, I selected 5 qualities as an example. The first one being the courage, and in that I explained the example of Dasrath Manji, that what was happened to him and what he did with what happened to him. And then, sir, second quality was the forgiveness, that Ram was asked to go into exile for 14 years. So it was what has happened to him and what he did with what happened to that.
Okay, I'll suggest you to submit your write-up to me. I'll just have a look, right?
Okay,
And
okay, sir. Okay.
just try not to diversify the topic only with the examples, because
Okay,
examples
sir.
can act as a supporting statement, right?
Yes, sir.
The idea should be yours. The idea should be new. The example is not an idea. It is the supporting statement to the idea,
Yes, sir.
right? So that kind of balance should be maintained in the write-up, right?
Okay, sir.
Just send it to me. Do not get fearful from the marks that you can get. You can get 20, you can get 30, 50, whatever, but you need to learn from it, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the topic is all about. Now, discussing the topic spatially. In spatial discussion, you just need to pick up the particular example and relate it to the idea of the topic. For example, in the economy section, I have just explained the 91 financial crisis. Talking about polity, the kind of situation India was facing, where the rural areas, where the second and third tier cities were leaving out from the political discussion of the country. And that's when 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment acts were introduced, which provided that political decentralization, democratic decentralization, right? So these are the keywords which you can put up, which you can learn from your GS 1, 2, 3, and try to put these keywords in your write-up, in your essays, which enhances the write-up, which showcases the vocabulary, right? It compresses your essay. कम शब्दों में आप ज्यादा explain कर पाते हैं if you try to use these particular kind of keywords, right? For example, in the defense section, the 2008 attack of Mumbai compelled India to introduce NAT grid, right? NAT grid is a security based infrastructure that has been built and has recently been introduced in the governance of the country. The disaster management, the Odisha case study can also be included in the write-up, where Odisha is a very famous state which faces multiple furies in the form of cyclones. Many cyclones that hit the state year by year, but now the situation is such that the SOP that they have built is such accurate that not even a single casualty occurs in any kind of cyclone that take place in the state. So that's a very famous case study. IR, the discussion of IR, where communism versus capitalism debate can be talked about. Cold War situation can be included in the discussion, right? But this kind of discussion will eventually come out from your mind if you are very clear with the meaning of the statement, meaning of the topic that you are picking in, right? I'll just talk about the second topic of the essay, because it's a very general topic.
Sir,
I'll
Sir,
try to
explain
discuss it.
little more on international relations. Like you mentioned that communalism versus capitalism.
Communism. It's not communalism. It's
Okay, okay.
communism versus capitalism.
Okay, like what kind of experience led to this? Like, I mean, like, how do we explain and how do we relate this to the topic? I didn't get it.
Okay. So in international relations section, communism versus capitalism debate was there in the Cold War era. The complete Cold War era was based upon the fight between communism versus capitalism, right? So what kind of experience we were getting, we were observing the economical situation in the countries which were following communism and the economic situation of the countries which were following capitalism, economic situation as well as the social situation. So economic situation was very good in the countries that were following capitalism, and it was getting poorer and poorer in the countries following communism. At the same time, the economic disparity was getting higher and broader in the capitalist economy as compared to communist economy, right? So this was the situation we were observing. We were not getting any kind of experience out of it as per the topic. But now, after the Cold War era, countries shifted towards the capitalist economy and try to include the socialist idea of communism, right? Because you need to earn money. You need to earn money to uplift yourself from the poverty. So that's the basic learning that we took from the Cold War era. Understood? So we started following the basics of capitalism as well as included the idea of socialism. So communism and
Like mixed
socialism,
economy choice for all.
mixed economy choice. Yeah, that's what. Right. So
sir,
that's how you can include this kind of discussion. Yes.
sir, can we also write the experience of Chandrayaan 2 helps in the successfulness of the Chandrayaan 3?
Experience of Chandrayaan.
2.
Acha, Chandrayaan 2 helped in Chandrayaan 3. Yes, yes. We can also include it. In the
Okay,
technological discussion, we can also include this particular point. If you try to be specific, it's always good, because the examiner gets to know that yes, this person is well read and he or she is trying to hit the core of the point. And if things are
okay.
very general in nature, then it will not get you more marks, right? So if you're talking about Chandrayaan 2 and 3, be a bit specific on what kind of improvement Chandrayaan 3 did over Chandrayaan 2.
Yes, sir. Like
Right?
soft landing, all of these things, and
Yes,
radius of.
yes, yes. So these particular keywords should be there in your write-up.
Okay. So,
Right?
sir, can you also tell like how to interpret the topic in the question form so that we can exactly understand that what's the examiner is saying to the topic?
Give me any topic.
Like, sir, for example, this also or any other PYQ that you can take as an example so that we can understand.
No, because there are multiple statements. Look, because of my experience, it is very easy for me to interpret the topic. Right? So it is good for you to give me any topic where you're facing any kind of difficulty.
Yes, sir, sure. So give me a 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
After that topic, I will. Yes, sir.
No, you can
Okay.
take your time. You can message me as well after this class. Right? We can have a
Okay,
short
sir.
discussion about it. No issues. Right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
Moving
sir.
forward, talking about the challenges and solution. Now, in challenges, I again suggest that try to be ethical in nature. Try to include the challenges of GS4 topics, the ethics portion that you will be reading for mains, right? So what could be the challenges that every person will not get the experience, right? Every person will not initiate the discussion or will not react to the situation. Why is it so? So first challenge is the fear factor. First challenge is the insecurity that an individual has, which restrict him to react to a situation and accept what's there in front of him. So that's one of the challenge. Second is the lack of decision making. If a country is facing financial crisis and it is not taking any kind of appropriate decision, for example, Sri Lanka, which has recently faced a very huge financial crisis. For example, Colombia, Zimbabwe, which are facing super kind of inflation, right? So they are not taking any appropriate decision to improve their economical structure. So that's why they are not getting the experience, the positive experience. They are lacking upon it. Third thing is high dependency, right? An independent country will act better than the dependent country. An independent person will act better than the dependent person. Because if you are dependent towards any other person or any other situation, then uh, first of all you are insecure. Second thing is you are bounded by the uh, bounded by the lines that has been drawn by that particular dependent person, right? You people are getting the point. If you are independent, then your
Yeah.
choices are independent. If your choices are independent, then you are free enough to pick the best one for you, right? So the thing that I'm explaining should not be written in the essay, but it is for you to understand. Because if you understand, that's when the mind starts working and produce the point. The first one is the fear factor, second is the lack of decision making power, third thing is higher dependency towards other individuals, fourth one is lack of self awareness. If I'm not self aware, I don't know what kind of risk or what level of risk that I can take, because the reaction to a situation is always risky in nature. You don't know the outcome. It can be positive or it can be negative as well, but it is the intuition, it is the feeling that you have right now which compels you, which pushes you to take that particular decision, right? If you are preparing for civil services, then at the back of your mind you should be positive enough that yes, I'll be clearing it, and that pushes you to continuously prepare for it, even if the outcome is not very clear to you, even if the outcome is, or the situation is very difficult, the situation is very competitive in nature, still you are preparing, right? So that kind of self awareness is a necessity to get an experience in a positive manner. So this kind of discussion, this kind of challenges will keep your write up apart from the other write ups. And similarly the solution. So if you are proposing ethical challenges, then you should propose ethical solution as well, right? So what kind of solution should be there? You as an individual should be emotionally intelligent. Proper socialization of an individual, of a person, should be there. What does socialization means? Socialization by parents, socialization by friends or families, socialization by your teachers or the educational institution that you have joined, right? They must be providing you or filling you with multiple value system. So that value system will act as a fuel to uh, to remove the fear factor, to uh, to make you able to take good decisions in your life, right? And eventually coming on to the good governance. If governance system in our country is better, then there are multiple choices for an individual to take. For example, let's say take the example of Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, where socialist principles are so strong that there is zero illiteracy, right? People have multiple choices, multiple job options, multiple opportunities to act upon, to work. And in India we are a lot more restricted because we have few choices to act upon. Understood? And that's why we faces a lot of competition. Fourth one is meditation. Meditation is providing you mental stability, and every action that you take is an outcome of the thought that hits to your mind, right? So in this way you can hit the core of the solution in an ethical manner, right? Am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay, so these are the challenges and the solution. Now here you can increase the point on your own. Just try to think in this particular way, or in any other way that you can think of. Just make sure that the challenges and solution are aligned with the topic. Avoid deviating from the topic. Antithesis, as I have explained earlier, that here we will emphasize the event itself. Here we will emphasize the happenings that leading us to the experience, right? Because event is providing the seed of experience. right? There is something which is happening in front of me and which is pushing me to take the action to avoid the negative outcome, right? That particular event is creating instability and it is generating the curiosity in my mind, and that curiosity is compelling the person to choose from the options available, and that's what leads to the experience. So this discussion is showcasing that we cannot neglect the event, we cannot neglect the happening in itself, right? So that's also an important aspect. And till now we were putting the happenings in the second place and we were putting the experience in the first place, but in antithesis we are trying to put some kind of emphasis in the happenings or the events as well, right? So antithesis is a bit matured write-up which you will start feeling on your own as you build up your content, as you build up your understanding of essays over a period of time. So it will take some kind of time to hit to your mind on what kind of antithesis you can write on a particular topic, right? And then the conclusion. So conclusion has many shapes. Conclusion has innumerable ways that you can follow, that you can write. One way is to start summarizing the content that you have written, but that's a very general way. Second way is to if you have started with an anecdote, then try to close the loop of the anecdote towards the conclusion. That's the second way. It's a good way. Third one is to try to write the related quote in the conclusion, right? So one quote could be, experience does take dreadfully high school wages, but it teaches like no other. So that's one of the phrases that you can mention in the conclusion, right? Any doubt till now?
Hello.
Yeah.
Will you give an easy example of antithesis?
Sorry, please repeat.
Yeah, an easy example of antithesis, like whatever you have said in this essay, but an easy example, like for any other essay or something.
What is the meaning of antithesis that you get from our discussion? Just tell me that. Tell me that. What is the meaning of antithesis that you get?
No, I was not able to understand. That is why I'm asking. Like, what is antithesis?
What is the meaning of anti? What does it mean?
Opposite of the thesis, like in sociology.
Yes,
Sociology it is
exactly.
there, like thesis,
Exactly.
antithesis, and synthesis.
Opposite of thesis, right? While writing your thesis, you are just supporting the statement, the essay topic that you have picked up, right? Supporting the statement and explaining in a simplified manner. And in antithesis, you're not actually negating the thesis, but you're trying to broadening your topic. Okay, you're trying to broaden your topic by putting in some kind of X factor. Like in this essay, in the initial discussion, we were avoiding the happening, right? What does the topic says? Experience is not what happens to you, right? So this topic is putting emphasis upon the experience and it is not putting emphasis upon the happening. But towards antithesis, we are giving some kind of importance to the event as well, to the happening as well.
So how come this is different from way forward? I think it is same, right?
Way forward is a bit different because way forward doesn't comes up naturally towards on this particular topic, because it is very philosophical in nature, and every philosophical topic doesn't have the way forward. Right. So in the next topic, which says India's path in 21st century and Asian century, here you can differentiate. Here you can avoid antithesis and put up the way forward, because antithesis is very handy in philosophical topics. Right. In philosophy, there are multiple perspectives and you cannot explain every other perspective in your write-up, but antithesis provides you the opportunity to provide different perspective in just half a page of a single page. Right. Yeah.
One more question. Like, aren't we writing this entire essay from ethical perspective only? So this will make our essay monotonous, no?
Ethical perspective will not make it monotonous, because every other copy that the examiner will be checking will it will not include ethics. It will be devoid of it, right? And
Okay.
the points that I have given are the core of the ethics, which will not eventually come to every other student at the same time, right? For example, in challenges I have given 4 points, so you people can only remember 2, or let's say 1, right? The other 3 points will be very physical in
Difficult to
nature,
get,
or
yes.
they,
Okay.
they will imply to GS paper 1, 2, 3. So I purposefully try to include ethical points, so that your mind starts thinking towards it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. If the ethics is very well understood, then the write-up will not become monotonous.
Okay. Yeah.
So if this topic is clear, I'll try to put some of the points of the for the next topic as well. India's path in 21st century and Asian century. Anyone who have written this topic? No one? So I'll just give you an idea about this topic. This is the easiest one among the 4, which focuses upon 2 things. First one, it's trying to say that the 21st century is an Asian century. So you need to be very broad in your write-up. You should not be focusing only upon India in the first section of the essay, right? You should be talking about China, the Southeast Asian economies, India, Sri Lanka, and the other economies like Iran, right? Central Asia should also be included in your write-up, in your discussion. Far East, which includes Japan, South Korea, uh, 1 or 2 points upon the North Korea as well. You can also mention it. Major section of Russia that's there in the Asian territory, that can also be mentioned. Now, India's path in 21st century, it is emphasizing upon what kind of path India is taking in the 21st century. Now, here you can very well divide the section, the write up into multiple sections, which I've been talking about the spatial discussion, right? So, in every other sector, you can talk about the India's effort in the 21st century. So it will be the write up will be similar to India at 2050, India at 2100, right? So this kind of essay topics uh, you'll be coming on your you'll be looking forward into multiple tests, multiple examples, or the model essays that you'll be reading, which says that what could be India at 2050, what could be India at 2100. So the expansion of the essay, the diversification of the essay remains the same, right? Any doubt in this topic? No one? Yeah. So I'll stop the discussion here. Topic C and D are remaining, that I'll be discussing in the next lecture, that I'll take on Sunday or Monday. I'll just convey that message to you all, right? But before that, just try to brainstorm in these topics, topic C and topic D. These are very good topics. Topic D is very philosophical in nature, so just try to brainstorm upon it. We'll have a detailed discussion on topic D and a short discussion on topic C, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone, any doubt, or else we'll
Sir,
conclude the session. Yeah, please.
sir, I have a doubt, or I can, it's a problem that till now I have not write even a single essay, and
Mm.
I have a kind of a like fear of writing an essay.
Mm-hmm.
So, sir, please guide me on how to deal with it. Because
Start
I
writing.
did,
Start writing.
but
The
sir,
easiest way is to start writing.
there's a fear like how to start and what to write, what not to write. All of these things came into my mind.
The fear will start moving away once you start writing, right?
So,
So
is there any definite path that I should follow so that I will become confident about it?
Start writing 2 pages about a topic. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Start writing your understanding of the topic. Do not include examples. Start writing whatever comes to your mind regarding a single topic. Right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But the basic thing is start writing.
Okay, sir. And sir, there's what is the weightage of the grammatical, like is there any scope of like grammatical mistake?
The essay paper will be checked by English subject professors.
Yeah.
So grammar will be an important factor of their checking. Right?
Yes, sir. Oh, okay, sir. I will work upon it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Others?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so if no doubt is there, I'll conclude the session and I'll inform you all about the next session, right?
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Yes, Bhavdeep, yes.
But it is more of like 1-to-1. So is it okay if I ask it here?
Yes, it's okay. We have just 4 of us.
Okay, so like what do you think that Swati got such a good score in essay?
The understanding of the topic. The person should have a deep understanding or a very clear understanding of the topic, which helps you to diversify it in a better manner. So she had a lot more clarity about the topic, and luckily she picked the topic from the area where she was very strong in.
Okay.
So that was the important factor.
So she was not from literature background or something.
No. She was not from literature. She was an engineer from BC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yes. Others? Anyone?
No, sir. Thank you,
Sure.
sir.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.